Close your eyes, dear listener. Let the soft darkness wrap around you like a favorite blanket. Breathe in slowly, and breathe out even slower. You are not in your room anymore. You are standing on the warm stones of an ancient harbor, under a sky of impossible blue. The air smells of salt and promise. And before you, rising from the edge of the land like a dream made of stone, is a tower. The most beautiful tower the world has ever known. This is the story of the great Lighthouse of Alexandria. The year was somewhere around 280 years before the Common Era. The place was a small rocky island called Pharos, just off the coast of the young city of Alexandria in Egypt. The city was already a place of learning and trade, its great library drawing scholars from across the known world. But its harbor, busy and vital, had a problem. The coastline was low and flat, a maze of shifting sandbars and hidden reefs. In the darkness of night, or in the thick rolling mists of winter, ships found it difficult to approach safely. Sailors, with their precious cargo of grain, silk, and ideas, longed for a sign, a guide, a steadfast point of light to say, yes, this is the way. Here is safety. Here is home. And so the decision was made. Under the rule of the wise King Ptolemy I, a great project was begun. They would build a lighthouse, but not a humble, simple tower. No, they would build a wonder. Listen now and imagine the very beginning. The first thing that had to be done was to tame the wind. The island of Pharos was bare rock, swept by the sea breeze. But the architects, who were very clever men, knew how to speak with stone. They drew their plans not on paper, but in their mind's eye, a grand design of 3 tiers, each one a little smaller than the one below, reaching towards the heavens like a staircase for giants. The bottom tier was a vast square block, broad and immensely solid. The middle tier was an elegant octagon, its 8 sides rising gracefully. And the top tier was a slender cylinder, a perfect circle that would hold at its very crown the heart of the lighthouse, the flame. For many years the work continued. There was a peaceful, patient rhythm to the construction, like the slow, steady breathing of the sun itself. Day after day, under the warm Mediterranean light, the builders arrived. They were skilled men, craftsmen and laborers, and they worked with a quiet sense of purpose. Enormous blocks of pale, cream-colored limestone were ferried across the water from the mainland quarries. The stone was dense and slightly porous, and in the midday sun it seemed to glow from within, holding the light long after the sun had passed. Each block was lifted with ingenious cranes built from strong timber and thick ropes. The ropes were coated with oil so they would run smoothly over the pulleys with a soft, satisfying murmur, shush, 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 like the sound of the sea whispering encouragement. The most remarkable part of the construction was not the lifting of the stones, but the way they were joined together. The builders did not use common cement. Instead, they fused the great blocks of limestone together with molten lead. The lead was heated in large iron pots over roaring, clean-burning fires until it became a liquid silver stream. It was then poured into the fine gaps between the stones, where it cooled and hardened, making the joints absolutely waterproof and stronger than the stone itself. The process was quiet and deliberate. The hot lead made no sound as it flowed, only a faint, satisfied sigh as it found its new home. Once the lead was cool, the wall of the lighthouse became a single, unbreakable thing, bonded for eternity. As the months turned to years, the shape of human hands began to appear on the island. The square base rose, block by silent block. On its seaward side, a wide curving ramp was built, a gentle spiral road that oxen could climb with their heavy carts, bringing fuel and supplies to the upper levels. The architects had thought of everything. They knew that a great tower was not just a monument. It was a living, breathing thing that needed to be cared for. Inside the thick, cool walls, an internal staircase was taking shape. It was a wide, elegant spiral, lit by small, carefully placed windows. The steps were cut to be broad and low, not steep and tiring. This was not a tower for soldiers to race up in a panic. It was a tower for a steady, dignified climb. For the keepers who, in generations to come, would walk these steps every evening, carrying the sacred fuel for the light. And now, let us climb those stairs ourselves, in the soft quiet of our imagination. Let us rise through the square tier, feeling the solid, heavy calm of its walls. We pass a small window and feel the cool sea breeze on our face, gentle and welcoming. We climb higher, into the octagonal tier, and the view through the windows begins to widen. We see the ships resting in the harbor, their sails furled like sleeping birds. We see the roof of the great library, a quiet palace of knowledge in the distance. And we climb still higher into the circular tier, until we step out onto a small platform near the very top. And here we must pause. Because here, inside a ring of elegant columns that seem to hold up the sky itself, is the sacred heart of the tower, the great hearth. The flame was lit for the first time on a calm, clear evening in late spring, around 270 years before the Common Era. The fuel was wood, brought up the ramp by patient oxen, and sometimes a finer, richer oil that burned with a brilliant white light. The architecture behind the flame was the secret of its magic. Behind the great fire stood a gigantic, beautifully polished mirror made of curved bronze. This mirror caught the wild, dancing light and shaped it, focused it, and then, with a quiet, majestic hum, sent it forth as a single, powerful beam that cut through the darkness for many miles across the sea. When the chief architect, a man named Sostratus of Knidos, a name now almost lost to time, lit that first fire, the world did not hear a roar. It saw a quiet, gentle dawn in the middle of the night. The flame caught, flickered, and then grew steady. The mirror, angled perfectly, captured the light and sent it leaping across the waves. In the city of Alexandria, people looked up from their evening meals and saw a new star blooming on the horizon, a star that was steady, warm, and remarkably close. In the harbor, sailors who had lived their lives in fear of the dark coastline looked up with tears in their eyes. They did not cheer. They let out a long, slow breath of quiet relief. The light was there. The darkness had a guide. Let the image of that light settle in your mind for a moment. The great, pure beam sweeping slowly across the quiet, dark water. Above, the infinite, silent spray of the Milky Way, the true stars of the divine sky. Below, the soft, rhythmic phosphorescence of the waves. And on the tower, a single man, the first lighthouse keeper, standing humbly by the giant flame. He was not a king or a general. He was a guardian of fire and safety. His job was simply to watch and to keep the light alive. And as the night deepened and the world slept, he would add another log to the fire, slowly, gently, keeping the rhythm going, a quiet prayer of light for anyone lost in the dark. The lighthouse itself was a thing of serene beauty. As the years rolled on, the pale limestone reflected the colors of the sky. At dawn, it was painted with soft pink and gold, a pillar of rose standing above the wine-dark sea. By midday, it gleamed a brilliant, pure white, almost too bright to look at directly, a second sun born from the earth. And at dusk, it turned a deep lavender and purple before melting into the night, its work made visible only by the holy ring of light at its peak. It was 80 meters high, perhaps higher, tall enough to make the clouds seem like friends that came to rest on its crown. Sailors from distant lands, from Greece and Rome and the lands beyond, would see the light many kilometers out at sea. To them, it was not just a practical guide. It was a symbol. It meant the world was not entirely dark and uncaring. It meant someone, somewhere, had worked very hard to build a thing of beauty and usefulness, and had then set it on fire, simply to show a stranger the way home. And that, dear listener, is a profound kind of love. A quiet, civilized love, built of stone and light and patience. For centuries, the great Lighthouse of Alexandria stood. It saw the city grow and change. It saw the banners of new rulers rise and fall. Through all of it, the light remained. The keepers, generation after generation, kept their sacred watch. They climbed the wide, gentle stairs every evening, carrying their fuel, just as the first keeper had done. Nothing dramatic happened. The light simply shone, even when the earth shook, and sometimes it did, for the earth is alive and always moving. The lighthouse held. The ancient engineers had planned for this, too. The joints of lead were flexible enough to absorb the trembling of the ground without shattering. The tower swayed very slightly in a large earthquake, like a tall, calm tree in a strong wind, and when the tremor passed, it settled back into its solid, unshakable stillness. But the true legacy of the lighthouse is not the stone that fell, centuries later, beneath the patient waves. It is the idea it left behind. The Pharos of Alexandria became the inspiration for every lighthouse that has ever been built since. The very word for lighthouse in many languages, fair in French, Pharaoh in Spanish, Pharaoh in Italian, comes directly from the name of that small, rocky island. Every time a sailor sees a beam of light cutting through the fog, every time a Coast Guard lamp sends its signal of safety across a stormy bay, the spirit of the ancient Pharos lives on. Its light was never truly put out. It was scattered, like seeds on the wind, and it grew into 1,000,000 other lights. And so, as you breathe out now, imagine that you are a sailor on a calm, silent sea centuries ago. It is night. The water is black and smooth as glass. You see nothing but darkness in front of you, and then you see it. A tiny, brilliant spark on the horizon. It grows slightly stronger. It is golden, steady, and warm. It does not flicker like a star. It is a light made by human hands, and it is there for you. You feel your shoulders drop. You feel the tension leave your jaw. You know you are not lost. You know you are not alone. You adjust your course just slightly towards that beautiful, silent promise, and you sail home gently and without fear. Let that light be your own thought now, a single calm point of concentration as you drift into sleep. Do not think of the to-do list of tomorrow. Do not think of the worries of yesterday. Just watch the light. Let it guide you, the great lighthouse of Alexandria, a gift of stone and flame, a wonder of the ancient world, but above all, a quiet, steadfast beacon of peace. Now let the light dim, very softly, as your eyes grow heavy. The night is calm, the sea is gentle, and you, dear sleepy sailor, are safe.